Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. We have been gone for a little bit, but we are back. I am still Pitt.
I'm still Eli. I know that normally I would try to do some little mini rant videos in the meantime to try to fill the space, but I number one I haven't had time. Number two I haven't felt like it. Um, some of the movies that I did try to watch, like a couple of older movies, like I watched Collateral. I watched History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen. Great fucking movie, by
Mm.
the way.
Oh yeah.
Um, and Denzel Washington's American Gangster. Um, Another great movie, great performance from Denzel, but those aren't really good for like the format that I was doing. Like, there's not like
Ha-
visuals and shit that I can show off.
have we ever gotten Denzel and Viggo Mortensen in the same movie?
No, and actually, I take that back because I did talk about Collateral a little bit, and honestly, that was a little bit lackluster, if I'm being honest. But no, Denzel and Viggo Mortensen sharing a scene doesn't even have to be the whole movie. I think that could be really good.
Oh, I just picture movie magic happening right there
Oh
between the
yeah,
two. I mean, we've already had Viggo Mortensen and Carl Urban sharing a scene together, several scenes together. You know, but Denzel and Viggo Mortensen in the same scene. It making a movie where they're sharing scenes 80 to 90% of the time. I'm sorry, Hollywood, make this happen.
Um, Speaking of Carl Urban, I have to give him credit, and I have to admit that I was wrong. So I just watched, since it hit streaming, I watched Mortal Kombat 2, and I was very hesitant about him playing Johnny Cage. And part of it has to do with the fact that I think Carl Urban as an actor is better than that. I think he's wasted on a character like Johnny Cage. I was wrong because he was actually one of the best parts of the movie, like easily one of the best parts. Um, and it's
I've,
funny.
I've, I've seen trailers for it, and it's yeah. I hate this. I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. Never have been.
One of the things that they do, he throws in a couple Lord of the Rings Easter egg references, which is of course hilarious because he got to be in Lord of the Rings, and he was a fantastic character. Honestly, his Aomer didn't get enough showing in the movies. Well, honestly, he wasn't that big of a character in the books, if I'm being honest. Like,
He becomes the fucking king of Rohan.
he does, although that does happen toward the end of the books, and I do think the movies could have at least acknowledged that that happened, so that, bad on them for that.
Well,
But
I honestly think they did because at the crowning of Elisar, Aragorn's elven name, he gives a nod to Éomer, on as they're walking out after the wedding and crowning,
well,
and
and
he's his hair is nice and pretty, and as we all know from Monty Python, if you don't have shit on you, you must be a king.
and also that was a brief nod to the fact that Eowyn and Faramir do get together in the books because they're seen together during the coronation. Um, I honestly, just to go down that rabbit hole for a hot second, I do understand why they ended Lord of the Rings the way that they did. Because if you've read the books, it's a lot of fucking endings. Like, they're like everybody gets an ending, and it's a fucking lot. And this is already a 3 hour movie at this point. So there were things I would have liked to see again. The fact that Eomer was made king, they didn't really delve into that. Faramir and Eowyn, of course, the scouring of the Shire, but I understand we were already 3 hours in at this point in time. I
And
get it.
that's not the extended version.
Yeah, the theatrical version was 3 hours and 15 minutes, and then the extended version, which I'm sorry if you're a Tolkien fan, you have to watch the extended version, was an extra 50 fucking minutes of content. I enjoyed every bit of it, but
Yeah. Oh, as
it
I
was a
did,
lot.
and the thing is I only watched the extended version of it. So if I were to watch the theatrical version, I'd be like, hey, wait a minute, we're missing something. Because I sit and watch when I watch the extended version, I really don't feel like it's that long.
It really isn't. It does actually like kind of keep your attention. Um, the one scene that I was happiest to have happened in the extended version was the mouth of Sauron. I loved that scene in the book.
Mhm.
I love that scene in the movie. Um, the only thing that they really changed, and I'm not sure that it was a change for the better, is the fact that Aragorn killed him. That doesn't happen in the books. Um, he was afraid Aragorn would kill him because he is an emissary, and this breaks the rules of like parlay or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Um, he didn't kill him in the books, so it was maybe a weird choice in the movie, but it worked.
Yes, but it's also his body, head, and horse are missing when Aragorn rides back to the army.
The
Yes,
one
I noticed that, Peter Jackson.
the one thing I will say that I think Peter Jackson did for the better is that the shots where Aragorn is fighting the cave troll, that was originally going to be Sauron himself. And they changed it because they felt that him fighting Sauron directly takes too much focus for the entire movie. Because mind you, this is also when Frodo and Sam are climbing Mount Doom. And honestly, I think it was the right call. I think he was right that it would have taken the focus.
Yeah, but it's still been kick-ass battle.
Oh, it would have been fucking fantastic. Um, and actually, I was about to say that honestly, Aragorn, as good of a warrior as he is, would get fucking washed against Sauron. That's not necessarily true. He would get washed against Sauron at full power. Like unquestionably, he would get fucking bodied by Sauron. But this is a diminished Sauron without the ring. Aragorn might have had a chance, or at least been able to hold his own long enough for the ring to be destroyed. Um, but let me circle back because we went way off. But like Carl Urban, there's a part where he's holding something called Shinnok's amulet. If you played the games, you know what that is. But if you don't, it's just a ancient relic in the movies, and it's this big circular thing. He's trying to destroy it. Kano, I fucking love Kano as a character. Oh, why don't you read the instruction on the back? Oh, good idea. Let's see. One ring to rule them all. One ring to go fuck yourself. Like he was great as Johnny Cage. He really was. Um, but God, we have missed quite a bit in the time that we've been gone.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely a shit ton of uh, nerd stuff out there. Strange New Worlds rewrote human history. Spider-Man: Brand New Day just opened to huge numbers that haven't officially come out because as we record this, we are still within those box office numbers for the weekend. Which I've already seen the movie, and great movie. However, there are some things that I wish they would have done a little bit differently. But I can understand why they did that because now we are now bringing mutants into the MCU.
Yeah,
So I would,
I
however, John Barenthal, my God, is the best Punisher we've had. Nothing against Thomas Jane or anybody like that, but my God, John Barenthal, hats off to you, sir. Phenomenal. Absolutely loved his performance. Um, and he's on. It's like I and I've watched other stuff. He's been in. Like The Walking Dead, and most recently His and Hers on Netflix, a short-lived miniseries, which
that
was
was a
really
great
fucking
fucking
good.
show.
That was fucking great. The twist of that fucking show, I was like, what the fuck?
You
Totally fucked my mind.
if you had told me going into the show, number one, that there was going to be a twist ending. If I knew that up front and then you gave me a week to guess what the twist is, I never would have fucking got there.
Yeah,
Never.
I mean, the way she played off the Alzheimer's, the dementia, I'm like, holy shit, this woman's been clear-headed this whole fucking time.
Uh,
And sorry guys, spoilers, but it's like, Holy hell! I mean, that was it. Just it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. I'm thinking the whole time it was Tessa Thompson's character.
See, with that, I like they start out the series trying to paint that picture like Tessa Thompson is ultimately going to be the killer. And because of that, I never believed it. It was too obvious. But I was never going to fucking guess how that ended. Apparently, it is based on a book. I haven't read the book. I don't know if the book ended the same way. But if you watch the show in a vacuum, which I did, first off, it's phenomenal. But second of all, I never would fucking seen that coming. Um, but yes, John Bernthal. So when they first talked about casting the Punisher, so first of all, I thought that they were going to do a movie, and then it ended up becoming the Netflix show. One of the common fan castings was Tom Hardy, and I do think Tom Hardy would have been fucking phenomenal for it.
Oh yeah,
Like Tom Hardy just has a look and a demeanor about him. Like I want to say that he was a great Bane, but the truth of the matter is, because there was so much editing on his voice and everything, that it really comes down to his physicality, which he absolutely did have, and his facial expressions, how much he emotes non-verbally. And he does do a phenomenal job with that.
yeah,
I loved him as Bane, but like a lot of it was the dialogue at least was studio done.
yeah. Well,
Um
and I think a lot of it, a lot of the negativity about Tom Hardy as Bane comes from the script material. It had nothing. He he took what he was given, and he actually, as you said, those emotions, like you could see in the eyes, like they were just, you can't see his face, you can't see his nose, you can't see if he's smiling, but you could see it in the eyes on, how he's, and it was just a phenomenal job on his part, which carried over into the Mad Max movie.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought, and whatever happened on set between him and Charlize Theron, you know, that's between them. But my God, out of the Mad Max movies, that's actually my favorite.
I did honestly. I don't think I've actually watched any of the previous movies all the way through, but I did
Uh,
enjoy his Mad Max. I still have not watched Furiosa, even though I have slowly come to really enjoy Anya Taylor Joy as an actress. Um,
Furiosa's not bad. Um, Little campy in some places, which is kind of like the original Mad Max movie with Mel Gibson, like the very first one. I think
yeah,
that was like 1979 or something like that. Because
uh,
I think Road Warrior was like 1984, and then Thunderdome was like a couple years after that with Tina Turner.
this
Um,
is this is back when he had his Lethal Weapon mullet. So yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah. So, and he actually has his Australian accent in the original Mad Max. But Furiosa, I mean, it's about that same time. So there were parts of it like, with Emoton Joe, for instance, and that was the same original actor who played Emoton Joe in the Mad Max as the one in Road Warrior.
Nice.
Um, so it was one of those things that it was like it was giving that backstory, but it never really explained how for Mad Max, how she became under Emoton Joe as, the driver. It kind of gives it because she knows how to go the truck, but it doesn't explain how we get from Furiosa to the Mad Max remake.
Um, but yeah, so but again, I love how we've done this like two or three times already in the 15 minutes we've been recording, just so we go off track. But but yeah, so Tom Hardy is a fantastic actor, and I still think he could have been a fantastic Punisher. There was also a fan casting him for Wolverine, and I think he could be a great Wolverine. Even though I kind of want to get the short Wolverine because his stature actually has a lot to do with why he's so fucking ferocious. Because he has a little bit of a Chihuahua complex, except that unlike a Chihuahua, he will fucking hurt you.
Yeah, he's a honey badger.
But when they announced it was going to be John Bernthal, like probably most fans, I thought of Shane in The Walking Dead. And I immediately was like, fucking yes. Because honestly, Shane in The Walking Dead is very much like the Punisher, at least in like his some of his mannerisms. What
Yeah.
Shane doesn't share with the Punisher is his motivations. Shane doesn't have that past trauma and baggage with his family being killed, but other than that, so his why is different, but him doing what he does is not.
Yeah.
So
And and the thing is like because everybody when they see John Bernthal, that the Punisher, and they think Shane the Walking Dead. That was the nice thing about his and hers. It was outside of that particular that casting dynamic, which actually shows he has talent. He has fucking range. There were some scenes where there were similarities, but that's what the script was calling for. Like the emotional thing, like his reactions, the way he was with his niece.
yeah,
I didn't realize that was his niece until like roughly about the second or third episode. I thought it was his daughter at first.
so
I
did
mean,
I.
just because of the interactions they had. So when I found out
Yeah,
that that's his sister and that's his niece, I'm like, oh shit, that gives this character a whole new dynamic.
yeah, it does. And honestly, so when I first had it pop up on my Netflix feed, which actually I think I watched it around like the beginning of the year, but I saw John Bernthal, I saw Tessa Thompson, and I didn't know shit else. I just hit play because honestly, I don't need anything else. I love John Bernthal as an actor. I love Tessa Thompson as an actress. I don't think I've seen anything from her that I was not thoroughly entertained by. Is her Valkyrie a huge departure from the comics? Yeah, it is, but she's entertaining as shit.
She
I
is,
love
yeah.
her. I love her in the Creed movies. Her character in Creed is quite interesting. Like the fact that part of the reason why she's a musician is because she is actively going deaf, so she is maximizing her hearing while she has it. I love that dynamic. Um, I'm trying to think. Passing, which she did with what is her name? Um, I know the actress was in Preacher on AMC. Um,
Uh, uh, Nega,
Ruth Nega,
Ruth,
yes,
Ruth Nega,
yeah,
who's
and
actually married, to the guy who was in Preacher, Dominic.
really,
Yeah, they're
okay.
actually married in real life.
Which it might still be on Netflix. I'm not sure, but I know that particular movie, Passing. The movie only works in black and white. So Ruth Nega she's a black woman, 1920s New York, and she is passing as a white woman. And if you've ever seen what Ruth Nega looks like, she cannot fucking pass. However, this is a black and white movie, so it kind of almost worked. And Tessa Thompson is a woman that they went to high school together. Tessa Thompson, who is also light complected, she lives her life as a black woman in Harlem, and they randomly reconnect. And Ruth Nega's character sees what she missed by choosing, quote unquote, to be white. And it's a very interesting story. Um, but
So funny thing is, like Ruth Nega, when I was working retail about 20 years ago, there was actually a woman I worked with who looked exactly like Ruth Nega.
really,
Oh
hmm,
yeah, huge crush on her too.
I can see why. And she also had a short stint on Agents of Shield, which
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
they turned her into a fucking urchin or something. Like she had it's like she
Yeah.
had spikes and everything. Um, but anyway, no, it's a great character. She's a great actress. But yeah, again, Tessa Thompson, I love watching her. So with his and hers, I immediately, yep, I don't need to watch the description. I'm just gonna hit play on this.
Yeah.
Um, and they're becoming some of those actors, and I really like that about them. And you talked about like Viggo Mortensen a bit ago. They 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 pick very specific types of projects to the point where like I don't know anything about this project, but I know the kind of projects that this person chooses, and I'm going to be interested off of that. Jake Gyllenhaal has kind of become one of those actors too.
Yes. No,
Um,
I can agree with that.
And he does very niche movies. Like Donnie Darko was a little weird, but I do understand the appeal to that movie. Um, I loved him in Prisoners. He gives a very, it's a very subtle performance, but like one of the ticks that he has, if you've watched Prisoners and you've seen it, like the way he blinks with his entire face, like he does that shit. Apparently, that is a common thing of somebody who is actually like bottling a lot of shit, and he's a homicide detective, so that makes sense. Um, Nightcrawler, he gives an incredible performance in Nightcrawler, and he is an absolute piece of shit in that movie. um, and I think that's actually where a lot of people give some of their best roles is when they are playing a shitty human being.
Yeah. Speaking of unusual roles for some actors, we just recently got the casting announcement from San Diego Comic Con about our new Ghost Rider, Ryan Gosling. I want to get your take on it. Is he trying to break away from Ken in the Barbie and that pretty boy type role, which I can't always say he's in a pretty boy type role because if you watch Blade Runner 2049, he was phenomenal in that movie. But we've got him as our new Ghost Rider, passing on such people as like Norman Reedus, or even going back to Nick Cage, which I loved his performance in Spider Noir. It was absolutely phenomenal. The role fit him perfectly for his acting style. But we now have Gosling as Johnny Blaze.
So one thing I will say about that is this is a really good example of fan casting working, because that's exactly what happened. Because people have been wanting him forever, kind of like how we got the cameo of Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I know that 100% came out of fan support.
Oh yes, it was, and I still think Krasinski. And as much as I love Pedro Pascal, I still think John Krasinski should be our Reed Richards.
I will agree with that, partly because yes, Krasinski is getting a little bit older and everything, but Reed Richards is supposed to be older. Like
Yeah, and he rocked the beard, dude. He rocked the beard.
he starts out in the comics, he always has the gray at the temples. That was always part of his look. So we should get an older uh, Reed Richards, and I think Krasinski is getting into that stage of his life. And again, yeah, Pedro Pascal, fantastic actor, but it's not a good fit for him. It's really not.
I mean,
Uh,
in all fairness, we are in the MCU with the multiverse and everything like that, so we could see Krasinski back as Reed Richards. I mean, we're already seeing some people coming back in original roles. We've got Ian McKellen coming back as Magneto. Rebecca Romaine's coming back as Mystique. However, there's another Mystique in there as well.
she looks like shit in Doomsday, though. I hate her look in Doomsday. I I love Rebecca Romaine as Mystique. I love Rebecca Romaine, period. Fucking love her in Strange New Worlds. But
Oh
like
yeah, we'll get back to that.
but her appearance as Mystique is just terrible in my opinion. Like her skin is too pale of a blue. She doesn't have that deep blue that she had in the original ones. And Jennifer Lawrence had it first because they whitewashed her, quote unquote.
Yeah,
Her looking Apocalypse was fucking weird. And so Rebecca Romaine has like the white dress type thing as Mystique now, but it's still wrong. I believe she has like her legs are not exposed like they're supposed to be. I don't like it. Actually, you know what? I can probably even pull it up here.
well, if you're
I,
going to
I
look for something, I say you should look for the Doom Witches because I have a theory on the Doom Witches.
so let me see. Because I've seen a lot of things where they will show like a side by side with what she is supposed to look like in the games. Um, that'll work. Um, Let me share my screen. Um, so the first image that came up over here, like they can like her face looks fucking weird, but the actual costume is like this is what Ignore
That's
the
more
face.
comic accurate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what this is from. This is what she's supposed to look like in the games. I don't know what the fuck is going on with her face here. That's fucking weird.
Well, the
But
costume's the same as X-Men 93.
yeah. So first off, her complexion here is wrong, like completely wrong. Um,
Well, it's kind of like Klingons. They kind of get more forehead ridges as seasons go on.
that is true. Um, oh, okay. Let me. Maybe I need to change it to Doomsday. Yeah, she looks like she works for the Empire. Like she. Okay, this is a better, I guess, semi more high res.
Yeah, just give her a lightsaber.
Yeah, like I hate how this looks. I really do. Like I think this looks terrible. Um, I love that Rebecca Romaine is back in the role, but like this right here, which I know this is just a fan mock-up. It's a very slight difference, but this is much better. But hang on. So what were you said the Doom
The
Witches?
Doom Witches. So there's a theory that remember at the end of the latest Fantastic Four movie, somebody's talking with Franklin, correct?
Yeah.
Well, there's a theory that it wasn't actually Doom, it was one of the Doom Witches. Now, my theory goes even a little bit farther. Notice the three color dresses. There's actually six Doom Witches. We got a green, we got a purple, we got a yellow, possibly orange. I'm colorblind.
Looks
But
yellow to me, but that doesn't
what
help much.
what color were the Infinity Stones?
That's a good point.
And
And
and here's where it goes even farther. So we see the purple one there, right?
yeah,
In the MCU, what character is synonymous with purple?
Thanos would be the obvious choice.
Agatha.
And she's a witch. So yeah. Oh, I mean, Agatha at this point, at least in the main universe, is dead, but still around because she's a ghost. But Doom is not from quote unquote our
Exactly.
universe.
Now we also have a red, which could possibly be the Scarlet Witch.
Looks like some people have the same thought process as you. Um, I will say, ooh, that is interesting. Nah, that's not going to happen. So Wanda being red, maybe. Clea is not going to be the purple. That's just not going to happen. And I really don't see Sylvie doing the green either. Um, it's a nice theory, but I don't think that's it. But yeah, actually, I think the Doom Witches is something that I kind of feel like has gotten a little bit left behind in the conversation. But I'm very interested to see how that plays out.
True, but they're in the trailer.
Yeah, like I see a lot of the image sharing, like what those were, like what I was just scrolling through, but I don't see a lot of actual conversations surrounding them. So
Well, I mean, it is also Marvel, and we know how they remove things from trailers or add things in the trailers, and that way it's different in the theatrical presentation. So,
yeah, like the way that they digitally added Hulk into the charge in Infinity War, and now we know that that was not Hulk, that was the Hulk Buster with Banner in it. Um,
mhm.
and they've pointed out there's a couple of times when they're showing like all of the teams and the we'll call it the ensemble, and there are weird gaps in how everybody is standing. So these are probably characters who were digitally removed. Um, one of them I'm pretty sure is going to be Spectrum, Monica Rambeau, because where we left off in the Marvels, she is in the X-Men universe because she woke up to Kelsey Grammer Beast
Yes.
looking fucking amazing as Beast. Like I thought he was a good Beast. Like he looked great
Yeah.
as Beast
Well,
in The Last Stand.
we know he's back for Doomsday.
Yeah. Um and actually I'm I you mentioned something a little bit ago with the mutants, and I'm gonna use this to kind of circle back to that. I think that they're announcing. I think they were casting some of these mutants too early because the X Men movies themselves are not even coming until after Secret Wars.
Yeah, 2028, I believe, is when the
Yeah,
first X-Men movie is supposed to drop.
I
Well,
think that we're
the thing is,
casting too soon.
yes and no. We still need some of them for Secret Wars. If we're going to make Secret Wars properly, we still need some of the X-Men in there for Secret Wars. However, we need to get them introduced as soon as possible so the fans will pick up. So let's take Sadie Sink, for instance, in Spider-Man. Yes, I'm about to give a
Spoiler
spoiler.
alert.
Yeah. Well, it's revealed who she actually is in the movie. And at the end of the movie, there's a small little scene. She's on a bus and she's going to upstate New York. What's in upstate New York?
Yep.
So I think in order to get to start making a cohesive connection between all the movies, we need to start bringing in mutants here and there. Like we've got a Wakanda 3, we've got a Black Panther 3 coming out. Okay, we have a new Black Panther who's I can't remember the actor's name, but he's going to be playing T'Challa's son. Which he actually looks the fit for the role perfectly. However, in that Black Panther 3 movie, could we possibly get to meet our new Storm?
David Johnson, that's his name. Um, I still would like to see Anna Diop Storm. I think she would be a fantastic Storm. However, I do believe she is like 37 right now, and as much as I would love to see her in the role, she would have a very limited amount of time in the role. And plus, if we do play the T'Challa Storm romance, that's a weird age gap, and I don't. I think we should avoid that. Um, what the thing that I'm the most confused and curious about, and I think a lot of people are going to agree with me about this, is what is the time jump going to be for us to get T'Challa Jr. as an adult in the new Black Panther?
Well, Spider-Man just did it for us.
Really?
Yes. So where the movie begins, you have Peter Parker. He's following, Ned's social media and stuff like that because he's still very emotionally attached to them, which makes sense. And he's going through, he's like, hey, it's my first, Ned's there, it's my first day at MIT, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. And it goes through several other media posts. And then eventually goes, hey, it's my last day at MIT, finally graduating. So there is actually at least a 4-year jump in
Okay.
Spider-Man. And if you do, and it's just based off of Ned's social media.
Okay. All right. Um, and I am still waiting and hoping that we get to see Ned turn into the Green Goblin. I feel like they've already alluded to. I'm sorry, not the Green Goblin. I'm sorry, the Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah. Um,
Well, you may be disappointed.
I do know how the movie ended with in regards to his relationship, their friendship, and everything, but I feel like there was a way to tell the story and make it happen. Which
It's
this
it, it
is
it's still a possibility. It's still a possibility.
Yeah, so I don't think this is going to count as a spoiler because I'm talking about what I know did not happen in the movie, which what could have happened and didn't is basically this pining for MJ that Ned could have been doing. Like if like an unrequited love. And then Peter swoops in and that turns him bitter and he kind of becomes the hobgoblin from that. It's a little bit heavy with the tropes, maybe, but it was a way that they could have had that character arc, which actually is not too unlike Harry's new Goblin arc in Spider-Man 3. Well, 2 and 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could even take a more of a psychological break. I mean, he could be pissed off at Peter for having that spell cast and forgetting his best friend of the last 4 or 5 years. and hold a grudge against them.
Yeah, that's true. That is another way that actually, and that might have played out a little bit better. Um, it's similar. It's sort of similar, but not close enough. Kind of the way that, like how Electro's character played out in Amazing Spider-Man 2, because
Yeah,
Electro saw them as being friends when they really weren't, and then he felt spurned, but like it was a parasocial relationship, basically.
yeah.
That's what Electro was. Um,
I mean, and we already know we have Miles Morales in the 616 because that was hinted to at Spider-Man No Way Home.
well, hell, it was hinted in Homecoming with Donald Glover, because
Yes.
Donald Glover was Aaron Davis, who is Miles's uncle, Prowler, and he says, "I have a nephew in the city." That's fucking Miles.
Yep. Yes. So we already have Miles in the 616. He just hasn't been revealed. So I mean, who knows what they're going to do with Ned? And but I mean, it's always a possibility that we can get him to Hobgoblin. Now I want to turn the tables like you do all the time. And we had mentioned Strange New Worlds and Rebecca Romaine. Strange New Worlds has rewritten human history in its
I
very
love
first episode of the season.
I love the way they did it. So yeah, so first off, time travel is nothing new in the Star Trek universe. What was new is that they were transported to an Earth that we have all read about, which was the prehistoric times. And they've found Martians, living, breathing Martians, um, who apparently had somewhat more advanced technology than Starfleet does in the current iterations, because they could phase through walls and shit. That was cool. Um, I'm not really sure. One potential plot hole was just communication. I don't know that their universal translators would have made it so they could communicate and speak with the Martians. So it's a
Yes.
possible
Well,
plot hole, but it's a forgivable plot hole.
but Mbaga did say that the Martian DNA was found through several thousand other different species throughout the Federation database.
That is true. Um, and also there were some words that translated differently. Like I believe it was when he said alone. Like he
Yes.
said alone in the way that we mean it, and she heard alone as in a widower. So that was also a very interesting turn of events. But of course, the part that you're talking about was, of course, the end of the episode, which her destroying the fifth planet of the solar system, which I it was such good, clever writing. I fucking
Yes.
loved everything about how
Which
that played out.
which showed that part of that planet struck Earth, killed off the dinosaurs.
Hmm.
Also, if you look at where that fifth planet was located on that star map, it's in the exact same place as the Kuiper Belt between
Yep.
Mars and Jupiter. Now, the most interesting thing, I mean, the whole episode was interesting and phenomenal. But the most interesting thing is they're talking about the quantum influx that they just went through. And Carol Kane's character mentioned she's like, I've seen that before. It was by stepping into a phone booth.
Yeah. um.
Doctor Who is now part of Star Trek canon.
Actually, hang on. Let me. Who owns Doctor Who? Let me hang on.
This
Let me.
this was the second reference she's made to Doctor Who. Because remember in season 3, when they had to hardwire the communication systems of the Enterprise, and they were in her room looking for telephones and stuff like that, there was references made to Doctor Who.
So the sci-fi shit. The
And
AI.
and yeah, and in the original series, there was supposed to be a spin-off from Star Trek. I believe it was the second season that was supposed to be an American version of Doctor Who.
That could be interesting. And also I feel like there are. So I say this as somebody who hasn't watched Doctor Who, but I do have some peripheral knowledge just because of some of the people that I um, that I interact with who watch Doctor Who. Um, but I do feel like, for instance, the Time Lords is not unlike the organization that Wesley Crusher went to work with. It's not the
Oh yeah.
same, but it's not that far different. It's not that different. Um, I'm trying to think because there's or actually wait, the same people that Wesley Crusher went with aren't they the same people who basically time traveled on in season like 3 or whatever? Or is that
I
somebody else?
uh, don't recall. It may be the same.
Well, I mean, like they time traveled her because the time stream got all fucked up. So again, it's very similar to some of the shit that like what some of the Time Lords might have done. So, and I was trying to look it up and see who actually owns it. So, um, it is still owned by the BBC, of course, British Broadcasting Channel. Get your fucking minds out of the gutter. Uh, so it looks like they don't necessarily have a shared ownership with Paramount, but maybe they have a working relationship. But yeah, I it took me a second to remember. Yeah, Carol Kane is the actress. That was Pelia, and I did notice that when she mentioned um the type, fuck me, the phone booth. I did catch that, but I think it just kind of fell by the wayside because there are so many things happening all the
Yeah.
time with this.
Well,
Um,
there were two people in the house watching the episode, me and the wife, and you could have swore there was a applause and eruption of pure joy. Like it was a movie theater, like yeah, and all the animals were like, "What the fuck are they?"
One thing I did really enjoy with the newest episode that just dropped is that I'm watching it and they're basically doing the abandoned ghost ship story. And
It
I'm watching it, which first off, it was a great fucking story. It really was. But I
was
loved
fucking
it.
creepy.
It was. And I love it because like I'm telling my wife about it. She doesn't really watch Star Trek. She'll come in while I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, they're doing the ghost ship story and everything, but it's Star Trek, so I know it's not ghosts. She's like, so what is it? I don't know, but it's Star Trek, so I know it's not ghosts. And they never explain it. And during the episode, during toward the end of it, Pike mentions like he's been on like 6 missions like this, and out of those 6, 4 of them have come to a explanation, whether it be scientific or alien. And I think it was Mbenga he was talking to was like, and what happened to the other 2? I'll let you know when I find out. So I do enjoy that they are leaving this space for the unknown, even in Star Trek. So I think I think that's a good trope, and I think maybe in entertainment we over rely on explanations. Maybe sometimes like the unexplained is, maybe we should be utilizing it more often because it lets your
Yeah,
imagination go a little bit. Um, and honestly, I like the idea that maybe this was a genuine haunting in here. And Pike even shares a story from his childhood about what appears to be a genuine haunting, like the woman with the scythe in his barn.
yeah,
And honestly, I enjoyed it. But they skated over something in that story that I thought was very, very interesting. Um, remember when the woman with the scythe said, "I know your true name" or some shit like that?
yeah.
And Pike just skates over that, and nobody asks him about that. Like, I'm sorry, I would have questions if it was me. And nobody, like, they just let it go.
Yeah, but yeah, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds rewrote Earth's history.
Yeah, and I honestly loved how they did it. And again, like I was talking about like at your cookout last weekend. Um, I didn't think about it until the moment that they destroyed the unnamed fifth planet, which apparently on the internet they're also calling that Doldurm, even though like so I guess we're treating it like Vulcan, where Doldurm is the name of the planet and the species. I guess we're treating it like Vulcan, like that.
Yeah,
Um, but so at the moment that it explodes, I thought of the Kuiper belt, the asteroid belt, and I'm like, oh shit! And then they said, yeah, that's exactly what that was. So I love the writing surrounding that. This is something that I think is phenomenal writing. This is how you incorporate real world, um, like concrete factual shit, and then you fictionize it. That's probably not the right word, but you know what I meant. That
Yeah,
probably isn't a word at all.
yeah, it works.
Look, all words are made up. Which I love bringing that up whenever somebody talks about, of course, some of the things that, every younger generation has their own lingo and jargon that is completely fucking nonsensical. And I'll admit, some of it is stupid even to me. But when I see like a fucking boomer in there, these stupid made up words, I'm like, every word is made up. I just enjoy pissing them off and antagonizing them,
Well,
which
boomers are fun to make fun, pick on.
they are, because
I do it daily.
because they're well, I guess there are the two different groups of boomers, because you have some of them who are a little bit more aware of things, and then you have the ones who are just afraid of what they don't know, and those are the ones who are fun to antagonize because they're so
Yes.
fucking easy.
Well, those are fun to antagonize regardless of generation.
That is very true. Like I know, not to get too political here, which actually, you know what, we can sidestep real quick because I do have a cunt of the week. Which, um, did you hear what happened with the newest case about the dude who competed in the Olympics and they arrested him over the reflecting pool? Did you hear about this?
I haven't heard anything new about that.
The DOJ dropped the charges.
No shit.
Right. So, but Trump had a fucking crash out online, talk basically, oh, he's still guilty, da da da. So, yeah, the DOJ. I'm not giving the DOJ grace for dropping the charges. You should have never brought the fucking charges. So they're still our cunt of the week. So fuck them.
Yeah.
Um, but where I was going with that, actually, where the fuck was I going with that? Sorry. um, Wait, what were we just talking about? Because like we were talking about how like they just get triggered by shit that they don't like. It's just new to them, and I don't remember how we sprung off of that.
Uh, all words are made up.
Yeah. Uh. Fuck. I don't actually know where I was going with that. I guess that's bound to happen now and again.
On this show, constantly.
um. But so I'm just looking over some of the other tabs that I have up over here. One thing I thought was really interesting. I didn't know that they were making a third Incredibles movie.
Yeah, they're aging up the children.
Oh, they're not.
Oh, they're not.
No, because the producer Brad Bird, he says that it would not make them cooler. Basically, I think he's basically making the argument that aging them up would be lazy as far as like trying to modernize them or evolve them. And so
Okay.
we're going to get a third movie, but they're still going to be kids and everything, which honestly I'm kind of okay with that. Because
Taking the Simpsons approach, I see.
well, here's the thing. I think it's a good idea if for no other reason than Jack Jack. Jack Jack is absolutely fucking broken as a character and as a power set. And I think it would be a much more fun and much more interesting story to show his evolution rather than fast forward to somebody who already has his shit mastered. I think that makes a better story.
Yeah, it probably could, but at the same time, you could also make him about the same age as Dash is in the first two films,
But
and then
if you
age up the others, like have Violet really coming into her, you know, into her powers, and you have you know Dash aged up a little bit. Maybe he found out he can do something new with his speed.
yeah, and I actually would like to see them do that with Violet because obviously they're doing very much the Fantastic Four formula. You have the difference is that the only
Just
difference is
better, just better.
they have yeah they somehow still have the best Fantastic Four movie without being the Fantastic Four. and the only difference between them is Dash. Rather than the Human Torch, we just have a speedster. But other than that, the other three have the exact same power set. And honestly, Jack Jack is not far. He's not unlike Franklin, if we're being honest. Um, but I would like to see Violet evolve much in the way that Invisible Woman evolved, because to a non-fan, to a casual, Invisible Woman is probably the most boring of the four characters, but the reality of the situation is she is the powerhouse of them. Like,
Yep.
like we think of the Human Torch, who is a busted fucking character. Like, if he can go supernova, like the temperature of the sun, that's a bad fucking character. Um, you have the Thing, who is made of rocks and is like incredibly strong, and you have Mr. Fantastic, who the stretching is a little boring, but it makes very cool visuals and everything. You can do a
Yeah.
lot of you can have a lot of fun with that. But like, no, Sue Storm is far stronger than all of them, maybe combined. And Violet has that potential, and I would really love to see them explore that.
Yeah.
Although Jack Jack, or I'm sorry, not Jack Jack, but Dash as a speedster, I would kind of like to see them push him into like Flash territory, like where he's just fucking breaking the fabric of reality.
It
Because
could happen.
the thing is, I thought about this, and well, I shouldn't say I thought about this, but like I gave it some thought, and there were a couple of articles that I read. Here's the one thing that I really like about Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver, and I don't think he gets enough credit for, is, let's compare him to the Flash for this. Barry Allen or whomever else, Wally West, I don't remember who the original one was, but the older one, um, they tap into the Speed Force. If they're not tapping into the Speed Force, they walk around as a regular person. Whereas Quicksilver is born that way. He is that fast. And if you had to constantly slow down to interact with other people, you'd be fucking irritable too. And when you take that into account, Evan Peters actually has a very good depiction of Quicksilver, because he is impatient as fuck with everyone around him. And when you think about how his powers actually work, he should be. So I actually really I did read an article that kind of mentioned that, and kind of, I guess you could say, brought my attention to it. But when I actually gave it some thought, I'm like, no, that actually is a really good point. Like, he's
Hmm.
basically, he's that dude at the ATM stuck behind a fucking old trembling old guy, and he's just like, hurry up, hurry. That's what Quicksilver is all the time.
Yeah.
And Dash could end up being that. And that could make a really interesting dynamic.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're out of time, but before we go, I'd like to remind everybody that episode 9 of Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles, is out anywhere you get your streaming services. So go ahead and give that a listen. Episode 10 will be out September 1st. And we're getting ready to wrap the season. We're already casting for season 3.
Yeah, and episode 9 is a little bit of a special episode. We'll put it that way. Um, it was initially supposed to go in a different direction. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole with how it played out, but this is a little bit different. And I know that it was a pain in the ass for you to edit and put together,
Yes.
but I know for everybody involved with it, it was probably a little bit of fun to record. I didn't have that experience because my lines were normal, we'll say. But this should be a fun one to listen to.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, other than that, as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Feel free to participate, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those good things. And so I mentioned a while back that we might be looking into a different format and everything with this episode. I'm almost there. I showed him a little bit earlier. Aesthetically, I think it'll be a lot more pleasing, but we just kind of have to get everything together for that. Um, And actually, I think I know where I want to get my background image for that because I'm not going to use the one I was showing earlier. It's too busy. But
Okay.
anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Be you.